What's going on, everybody? We're here. We're live. Happy Thanksgiving. Welcome to a Black Friday edition of the Poker Life Power Poker Podcast. My name is Joey Negreanu, a.k.a. Chicago Joey. Before we get into it, guys, I don't know with Upswing's doing some like Black Friday sale. I think everyone's obligated to have a sale today. And for people that signed up for the lab last month, I mentioned the bonus videos, 20 bonus videos I'm giving out. I just emailed out about the first part of those videos. Check your emails if you signed up through my link. If you haven't yet, links below for any sort of course or anything like that. You can check it out. And I got nothing else, man. Joining me today on the podcast, and guys, I gotta say, he texted me and he's furious. Okay, he's mad at me about something I've been talking about lately. He's been getting him really steamed up. And the last time this happened was when Luke Shorts messaged me on Skype and said, I want to do a podcast, and wouldn't tell me why. I can only imagine what's about to happen right now. I'm a little bit nervous. I wore my Nolan Hold'em hat just for Doug. This is the hat I wear when I talk Nolan Hold'em with people. We're joined by the supreme leader, Douglas K. Polk, a.k.a. Doug Polk, a.k.a. WCG Writer, a.k.a. Mr. Bankroll Challenge, a.k.a. Mr. Video Game Player, a.k.a. Mr. New House, a.k.a. Doug Polk in the house. What's up, Doug? What's happening, brother?
It's good to be here, Joey, but I'm going to save you a little bit of the whole pregame antics, and we're going to jump right in here because I have a bone to pick with you about
what?
You know what your deal is. The PLO this, the putt limit Omaha, the great game of putt limit, putt limit Omaha, and we're sick and we're tired of it, man. We're sick and we're tired of it because we all know what the true game is, the real game. A man's game. It's played with two cards, not four cards. And guess what? You can bet whatever you fucking want. There are no limits. Not a putt limit. There's no limit. The real game, the greatest game is no limit hold'em. And you know what, Joey? I feel like it was time that we did something to cement this, to allow us to embrace the culture of the greatest game, no limit hold'em. No more of this PLO bullshit, which is why we are announcing our new clothing line, Eat, Sleep, No Limit Hold'em, bitches. That's right. No Limit Hold'em up in the house. Is that not your style? Check this one out. No Limit Hold'em. It's a way of life. That's right. It's a way of life. Some creative ideas. I don't know where I got them from. Of course, these are all in the Upswing store. Guess what, by the way? We got a 20% discount on this merch right now for Black Friday. So if you want to join in the resistance against this four-card bullshit, you know what you have to do.
What do you got to do? I don't get it. What do you have to do?
They have to join the No Limit team, bro. Eat, sleep, no limit hold'em. It's a way of life. It's the best game, the greatest game. There are no standees. There are no, my ace is only at 58% equity. I'm talking about pure, unfiltered 81% equity with aces, Joey. Eat, sleep,
all right,
no limit
guys.
hold'em.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of the Poker Life Podcast. Make sure you find it on iTunes. You can check it out. Search Poker Life. And I don't know what we got to take over here. Now Doug muted his microphone now. He's said enough about no one hold'em. He muted his damn microphone right now. Doug,
I've said what I had to say, Joey. I know it's good right here in the chat. Look at these people. They know what's good. No Limit Hold'em in the mix. We're taking it to the streets. We're going to be taking it to social. We're going to be taking it to YouTube. In fact, if we sell 100 of these shirts, I'm going to make a video, the truth about the greatest game ever, No Limit Hold'em. The truth, Joey. If we sell 100 shirts, the truth.
What's the truth? What is the truth? What is the truth? Wait a second. What's the truth about No Limit Hold'em? What's the truth? Am I missing something here? Did I miss the truth?
Look, I'm not going to come in here and tell you that this elitist society you got going on, which is great, by the way, is right, because it's not. And sometimes you have to stand up for the common man. Me and you guys. You see you guys in the chat? Us guys. We don't play PLO, okay? And don't let Joey brainwash you with his putt limit Omaha. We are playing No Limit Hold'em.
Why do you sound like you're having some sort of a panic attack when you say pot limit Omaha? I don't understand what you're doing. Like, what's wrong? Are you okay?
Joey, it's the way you say PLO, man. It's the pot, it's the putt, the great game of putt limit Omaha. You always just rattle it out there. We're sick and we're tired. We're ready for two cards.
Okay, so let me get this straight, Doug. you're doing a promotion where if you sell 100 of these vile, disgusting fucking shirts and tank tops, you're going to be making a video called "The Truth About Nolan Hold'em."
We are going to make a video if we sell 100 of these guys, or of course, No Limit Hold'em is a way of life. Both of these guys. A video that, Joey, it's been a long time in the making. It's a video that needs to happen. It's a video about the truth. Do you guys seek the truth? Because the greatest game is No Limit Hold'em.
Well, I hate to tell you, Doug. Well, I might not be very good at explaining things, but Jay Nandez is going to be in Las Vegas very soon. And me and Jay Nandez are going to make a video about why Pot Limit Omaha is the greatest game in the entire world, in the history of games. And I might not be able to explain myself, Doug, but if Jay Nandez writes that shit, you know I'm going to sound like a fucking genius. So you better watch out, because that video is going to be coming too.
As far as I'm concerned, there are two sides of the fence here. You can't sit on the fence anymore. A war is emerging in this country, in this world. And you're either on the No Limit Hold'em side, or you're on the Pot Limit Omaha side, and you have to decide, my friends.
Let me get this straight, Doug. After feuding with every person in poker, after feuding recently with Matt Berkey, who had on the podcast we talked about, now you're going to feud with a fucking poker game itself, too? You're going to feud with Pot Limit Omaha? You love playing Pot Limit Omaha. You were just on Live at the Bike last week, drunk out of your mind, having such a great time. You looked at me, Doug, this is on video, too. This isn't made up. I got receipts. You stared at me with those drunk, glassy eyes of yours. You stared at me and you said, you know what? Pot Limit Omaha is a really fun game. You stared at me and said that to me, and now all of a sudden you're making some sort of campaign against PLO. I don't understand this.
Joey, you know what, man? You know, we've been friends for a long time. And sometimes you just don't want to let people down. You know, the people that are closest to you, you want to just hold them in. And so I did what I had to do to make you feel good about your addiction. But you know what? It's time. It's time to come home. Come home. You used to play 24 tables of No Limit Hold'em all the time. All the time. You were Mr. 24 tables of No Limit Hold'em. You were.
Yeah.
Come home.
I got to think about that one more, Doug. I don't know. Listen, I've been watching No Limit Hold'em lately. I watched a couple of the poker hand videos. I've been watching Poker After Dark this week, and I got to be honest with you guys. And I did commentary last week on Live at the Bike. I got to be honest with everybody out there, and this isn't a lie. I played a No Limit Hold'em poker session on online poker recently, and I've been considering playing more No Limit Hold'em. And I know this is blasphemous to say, but I have been having some interest in two-card Pot Limit Omaha. So
it's all right. Baby steps. It'd be good to have you back. I mean, look, here's the thing. You know, PLO giveth and the PLO taketh away. But it's that ride. It's an adrenaline. You know, you just got to get some PLO. You got to get more cards. And then where does it end, Joey? 5 cards? Yeah, 5-card PLO is the thing. 6 cards, before you know it, you're playing stud. Wow. It's a gateway game to playing stud. Do you want to play stud, Joey?
Not going to be able to do it. No, I ain't playing no stud, bro. Listen, man, I'm not quitting Pot Limit Omaha anytime soon. I might play some 2-card Pot Limit Omaha, but I'm certainly not going to be quitting 4-card Pot Limit Omaha anytime soon. There's absolutely no chance that will ever happen, guys. But I did want to play 2-card, and so they can buy this shirt. Is that what you're saying? Where can they get the shirt from? Where's the shirt at? Link in the description. Where do we go?
Oh, yeah, we'll put a little link ski in the description, but it's on Upswing Poker in the merchandise store. By the way, guys, we got to start spreading the word. We got to get the word out about No Limit Hold'em against PLO, because the people know. The people know.
Everybody knows. What are you saying? Everybody knows.
We got to get the word out. So if you could head over to Twitter, I just put a poll up for you guys to vote. Let your voices be heard, okay? Because Joey does a lot of talking. You guys, for some reason, are still here. Let's let your voices do the talking. Over on Twitter at Doug Polk Poker, we got a nice poll, and the votes are coming in, Joey. They're coming in hot. We got 80%.
Well, listen, Doug, I'm going to tell you, I recently voted on a Twitter poll posted by Mike Matisow, who said who would be the first sexual assault person to be accused in poker. And you were on that poll too, Doug. So are you saying polls on Twitter are that legitimate? Or is this poll different than that poll, or what?
Well, to be fair, I was the least likely to be a sexual predator out of that group. So, yes, I'm going to say that they are all correct. No, I mean, okay, so obviously Twitter polls. Actually, you know what? This is a good segue, Joey. Let's talk about Twitter lately. Because Twitter has been out of...
Wait, who do you think I voted for in that poll, by the way? And you know, it was Daniel Negreanu, I think, Antonio Spandiari, you, and Dan Bilzerian. Who do you think I voted for in that poll?
I mean, obviously Bilzerian.
No, I didn't.
You didn't?
No.
Antonio?
No.
You voted for me?
Definitely not you. Come on. What are you talking about? I wouldn't vote
You
for
voted for
you.
D-Negs? I thought you and D-Negs were boys.
I just we had my who would I think? I mean, obviously it's Bilzerian. Come on, but no, I didn't vote for Daniel. I voted for Bilzerian.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But yeah, let's talk about this Twitter beef lately, man, because like I don't know if you've been like checking out the Twitter streets and whatnot, but like people have been going ham on Twitter.
Who's going ham on Twitter?
Well, so first off, we had the Dean Eggs versus James Woods thing. You see that?
Oh yeah, I saw that. James Woods, Dean X. I saw that. That was interesting to see, I guess.
Yeah, well, so Dean Eggs, okay, so for those of you who didn't see this, so basically Dean Eggs kind of jumped the gun, and someone posted like a picture where it said like James Woods like hashtag me too, and it was like a famous actress. And it's unclear whether that meant like her specifically or like there was another person that came forward with a James Woods story. And so Dean Eggs just like saw that picture and said, "Oh, it's time to add James Woods to the pedophile list or something," like immediately. And I looked at it and it was like, okay, well, a lot to unpack here, right? And it's a very complex issue. But like if one person comes forward and says like, this happened or whatever, we should take it seriously. We should hear what they have to say. We should get the facts and stuff. But like if one person comes forward with a sign and it says like, whatever, you can't be like, oh, throw him on the list. He's on the pedophile list now. So I don't know. I felt like, and don't get me wrong, James Woods has said some really terrible things on Twitter, and like he's completely out of line. Not in the Joe Ingram like we're doing whatever out of line, but in the James Woods, I'm going to attack like people on Twitter out of line. And so like, James Woods not a great guy. He's attacked many people for many things that are pretty stupid. But I kind of feel like in this instance, like Daniel was being a bit out of line just to say like this guy's a pedophile now because of this like one post. And then they kind of just went back and forth. And then James Woods just started hammering on him, just like calling him like a piece of shit. And just like, or I read the exact wording on the original tweet. And then he kept retweeting more stuff. And then the next day he tweeted the picture of Daniel in blackface where he's like, doing the Jamaican bit. And he's like, oh, so now like I don't know, whatever. Like he's like attacking Daniel for whatever, and like they were like swinging back and forth, man. It was some pretty heated beef going on.
Did you get a little inspiration from watching that? Maybe you're a little bit too nice in some of your back and forths, because I saw that. I'm like, damn, I never seen Doug go that hard at anybody like that. So maybe you got a little inspiration from watching those two go after each other.
No, that's not really. I'm more in it for like the jokes and stuff. Like if I'm gonna go after somebody, I'm gonna like make fun of them like humorously. I'm not gonna be like, you cowardly piece of shit. Like I'm not. It's just I don't know. It's just not really my style. But it was interesting because like just seeing like people kind of like battle like that, and like the responses were obviously like terrible because we have just like infinite people just like spouting off nonsense just on both sides. So that was an interesting one to watch go down. And then we had the one between that rapper guy, Talib, whatever. What's his name?
I have no idea who that guy is. I don't know. I don't listen to that guy, but I did see that he had about 700,000 tweets. So it looks like he enjoys tweeting, and it looked like he went back and forth with Stealth Monk, and then Vanessa Stelps, your friend, and then a bunch of. I mean, I don't really pay attention too much to the Twitter beefs that go on, but I kind of did see a little bit about that. But I don't know the specifics of what exactly the issue was between people.
Well, it's not really like as interesting, I think, but basically like he called some poker player a racist, and then a bunch of poker players kind of fought back, and they like all like argued. And yeah, I mean, the guy Talib or whatever, he seems like kind of an idiot. He said like a bunch of things like, "Oh, well, you're racist," and it's just like, okay, but like, why is someone a racist? Like, you're just gonna call people racist just for like whatever. But yeah, it was like some interesting discussion kind of spawned from that. And yeah, I don't know. Twitter's just been a crazy place. I don't know. Maybe you're not as interested in this stuff as I've been like kind of following along. But
wait, what do you find so interesting about it? Because I've been seeing that a little bit too. But I mean, it's sort of interesting from like a when you see like a car accident on the side of the road, you want to take a look at it. From myself, that's kind of interest I might see from it. But you find something else interesting that you take away from it.
Well, I just mean like in the whole thing happening, like it's kind of a spectacle, when like you see these people arguing with each other about like kind of stupid shit, to be honest with you. Like this basically boiled down to someone calling someone a pedophile and then someone else calling someone racist. And like, that's like basically the whole story. Yeah, no, but I'm with you. Like just from like the train wreck, just like watching the trains collide. D-Nex also tweeted something yesterday, and it's just like, man, it's Thanksgiving. People are with their families, and like,
Doug, you finished that. I gotta go grab a quote. I got a quote from D-Nex I want to read to you. Hold on.
All right, so I'll tell the story briefly. So like, it's Thanksgiving. Everyone's like enjoying like family time, watching sports, like eating food, whatever. And we got this tweet from Daniel where he tweeted. Let me find exactly where this one is at. When I think of Thanksgiving, I think of murder, rape, genocide of natives killed by white pilgrims armed with evil weapons, a destruction of a culture and its people. Not as happy as football and Black Friday, but at least it's the truth. Okay, so not to take away at all from like the plight of Native Americans. Obviously, like the settlers did like a lot of like super messed up things. I'm not saying that's cool at all, but like people are trying to like celebrate a holiday with their family. It's not like any of the people alive there, the people that came here and like pillaged the Indians. That's not the situation that's going on. So it just seemed like a very like unnecessary comment here, on a holiday for our country.
Well, Doug, I want to read a quote to you from Tribe and Mentors, Tim Ferriss's new book. So Tim Ferriss, there's a couple of poker players in this book. Liv Burry's in here, Fedor's in here, and Daniel Negreanu's in here. So they have the chapter. And Daniel's thing, he says, to avoid criticism, say nothing, do nothing, do nothing. He said, this quote has deep meaning to me. Much like Theodore Roosevelt, man's in the arena quote, it's a reminder that when you challenge the norms, when you make your voice heard, you are guaranteed to receive criticism. But in the end, it's all worth it. The alternative is being invisible, and that's not how I live my life. I thought that was basically a good summarization of how Daniel approaches social media, approaches his place as someone whose words can have an impact on the world. And, he says something, he believes in it. He understands that it's going to take criticism, and he goes out and he says it anyway. And, I have respect for that approach in terms of the exact words that he's saying. I'm not really paying much attention to that, but I can see where he's coming from. He's got a stance. He's got something he believes in. He hates fucking people that eat meat. He hates meat in general. And, he kind of voices his opinion on that no matter what the situation is.
Yeah, but here's the other side to that. Like, it's fine to take, causes that you think are important and like, try and help promote them. But when you're like trying to like, I guess, go against like the fabric of like a country that you've just become part of, like he's just now become an American citizen, and then you're going to come in and like attack people from like basically like, enjoying this holiday season where like the meaning of Thanksgiving has really kind of become something more about like giving thanks and like being with your family, and then turn it into like rape and pillaging, and like it's like, okay, but like at some point are we not just going to like enjoy some of the things in life that are enjoyable and let people kind of live their lives? Or do you have to always go after people for doing things that are frankly like common and normal? Like, some of the tweets about meat have just been completely out of line. And like humans are omnivores. Like we eat meat and we eat plants, but like in general, meat is very healthy. Like protein is very healthy for people. Chicken is very healthy for people. So it's just weird to be like, oh man, like not only should you not be eating meat from like a moral stance, but it's also better for you. Soy, the soy protein's so good and it's strong. And then like tweet out like 3 people that are like vegetarians that are also strong people. Like, look, you can be strong. Okay, sure, you can be strong. I'm not saying you can't be strong. But Joey, I've met a lot of vegetarians along my journey. And in general, they tend to be weak, frail people. Not saying that that's all of them. There certainly are some like real like beastie guys, but they tend to be like small, very like I don't know, shorter from lack of nutrition, and like they can't really lift things, and like I guess I would say like kind of helpless and frail. But no, it's if it's a lifestyle you want to live, sure, but it's not healthier. Like it's not like it's like nutrition, like nutritionally speaking, being a vegetarian is not better than eating meat. Sorry guys, you eat animals, it's like good for you.
Bang bang. I mean, that was one of the biggest bang bangs I've seen you do so far, Doug. So basically what you're saying is Daniel Negreanu is weak, is frail, and he can't lift things. He can't lift heavy things.
No, I didn't say Negreanu is weak and frail. I said vegetarians are more likely to be weak and frail. And in my limited sample size of meeting them, they tend to be more like that. That's not to say you can't be a strong person if you're a vegetarian. You just have to now take more effort to get that source of protein, because now you have to find. I mean, look, this is not gonna be a shocker. Meat has a lot of protein, right? It's a really great source of protein. And like leaner meats like chicken, grilled chicken are just absolutely fantastic sources of protein. So if you're gonna be vegetarian, you can still get that amount of protein, but it's much harder. You have to eat more. You have to eat different things. You have to like really be trying to find places to get that protein that you could easily get from meat. So it takes more time and more effort to be able to get that same amount of protein that I think a lot of people end up struggling with, and they end up thinking that there's like a lot of protein in things that don't actually have a lot of protein. I mean, I don't know if you looked at like the nutritional facts on grilled chicken. I've been eating grilled chicken nonstop trying to lose weight lately. And like grilled chicken is just absolutely amazing for you, man. It's just packed with protein. It's too bad it tastes so bad, but as far as like health goes, it's so good for you that, yeah, vegetarians tend to be more weak and frail and whatnot.
I got to say, Doug, hold on. I got to pull up my list. I currently have a power ranking list of my favorite types of Doug. And obviously, we got NFL Doug, we got Crypto Doug, we got Omaha Doug, we got Nolan Holden Doug, we got Bang Bang Doug. Let me put down diet and nutrition Polk on the list here. Hold on a second. Nutrition Polk.
Oh, I'm sure that one's going to rank very high.
This one's coming high. I'm liking you talk about diet and nutrition. I got to say, I like it better than NFL Doug. You know, NFL Doug during Thanksgiving. Although to be fair, I didn't watch football on Thanksgiving. The only reason I knew what was happening because I saw your tweets. So,
okay, look,
fair, you're kind of like a reporter in a little bit of ways for some people out there.
I'm gonna try and do something, Joey. I'm gonna try and do something, and I can't promise I will come through on it, but I'm gonna try, guys. I'm gonna stop getting so angry about teams making idiotic strategic decisions, okay? Because they're going to do it. Mm-hmm. It's not a question of when or a question of if, it's a question of when. Mm-hmm. And not just that, there are so many people unable to understand like what strategy is, that like when coaches do something stupid, a lot of the masses will defend them. So like, for example, let me give you an example here. In the NFL, there's a study done by the New York Times. It's like a fourth down bot, like what you should do on fourth down. And generally speaking, if it's 4th and 1 yard, you should go for it no matter where you are. And I know that's going to make people like super angry, like, no, not on your own territory. Brr, 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 brr. What if you miss? But look, every time you punt, stop looking at punts as, yeah, we can hold them, and start looking at punts as, what is the EV of this punt, right? What is the expected value of this punt? And the answer is that when you punt, you give the other team points, right? They're going to get the ball, they're going to be on whatever yard line, and they're going to score at X frequency. So people think about like optimal, like the best case scenario. Like, well, if we punt and we hold them, they get nothing, right? And that's not the way to look at it. We want to look at it just pure raw EV. What has a higher EV? So if you go for it on 4th down and you get it, not only do you now have a chance to score points, right? Your EV is no longer 0, it's now higher, but you also remove the other team from getting those points. So it's actually like a really critical time to go for it, because you can kind of win two things here. And yes, if you give up the ball in your own territory, deep in your own territory, I understand your opponent's chance of scoring goes up a lot, but the thing is, your chance of scoring goes down to 0 if you don't go for it, and either way, your opponent's getting the ball. So anyway, this study basically showed that you should always go for it on 4th and 1. You should almost always go for it on 4th and 2. There's a few spots in the field you shouldn't. And 4th and 3, you should probably go for it on half the time, or generally go for it, or whatever. Well, that's assuming like neutral. That's just like not including game conditions, right? Not including like you're up points or down points or whatever. But the thing is, when you're down points, and this is something that Americans hate, nothing is more red, white, and blue than wanting to be extremely conservative at all points. Good football means you never take risks. You know why? Because risks are for losers. Do the right thing. Be conservative. It's the American way. But it's not how you play football. You should be playing aggressively and trying to win the game. When you're down points late in a football game, it is not the time to now get more conservative. It's simply not. It's time to get more aggressive, because your chance of winning bases around you scoring points. And it's so weird to me when people are like, oh, well, you should always go for it on 4th and 1. But like, if it's like there are 3 minutes left in the game, and like, if you give the ball up, you lose for sure. You can't go for it there. But in those spots, you should go for it. So yeah, I guess here's what I was gonna say, Joey. Here's what I'm trying to say. I am going to stop getting so angry about people making terrible strategic choices, because you know what? It is what it is.
Oh, what was that? Oh, okay. Oh, whew. Sorry. I got lost there for a second. Hold on.
Oh, you're not there. Oh, shit. Oh, that's, yeah.
I
Terrible.
got lost. I've never, how long have you been waiting to say that? You've had that in your system for so long, like that you've had that for so long. You really have.
I mean, it's just like, man, like, and then the randoms come out of the goddamn woodwork. Well, technically, actually, it's 5 minutes left, and like, you can't go for it when there's 5 minutes left because then they'll lose. It's like, bruh,
fucking
Jim. Fuck up.
Fucking Jim, man. You know those gyms. Can you imagine? You didn't know we got gyms in poker? Can you imagine how gyms are in NFL? They've got to be. There's like billions of fucking gyms.
I can only imagine, man. Imagine?
Tell you what, I got an idea. Why don't me and you find a football team to coach, like a youth football team, or like some sort of like pick? Why don't we find a football team to fucking coach for? I don't know. Can we do it in the spring? Why can't we? Like, there's got to be some time we could do it. Maybe like a once a week sort of thing, like one practice, something like that. I don't really know how it would work, but.
You want us to find a youth football team and coach them with no football experience.
And did you just hear what you just said? You sound like you're a fucking professional football player.
No. What I'm saying is that no one's going to give us the job. And also, why do we want to do this?
Dude, they're definitely going to give us the job. What are you talking about right now? Why would we, if you volunteer, you go say, I want to coach football. What's your credentials? Well, we got, Doug's got 175 million YouTube subscribers on there. Come on. What are you talking about? Listen, I'll take out this clip and I'll post it to him and I'll show him that you know what you're talking about.
It would actually be kind of funny. It would be kind of funny to do that and vlog it.
That's what I'm saying. The Las Vegas out of liners. Exactly. Capranch 13. The Las Vegas out of liners. Exactly. It's an idea. Just throwing it out there. It's an idea. We coach a football team, maybe like a 6-game season or something like that. I don't know. It could be fun.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one of those ideas that we don't do, like table talk.
You think this? I think, dude, Table Talk's a legendary idea okay. Right now, that show would be watched by tens of thousands of people.
Oh, no kidding.
Who knows if I would show up every week, but either way, the show would be going. I actually went back to watch Table Talk, Doug, and I mentioned this kind of as a joke before we started the podcast, but I got to know, why did your face look so different during Table Talk than it does right now? What was going on in your face during that time of the year?
What is up with you and this like conspiracy theory that I was wearing makeup?
Or were you?
You know, like this. No, it's from like day one. You're like, Doug, you're looking a little tan there, buddy. You're looking.
Why are you so tan?
That's weird. I haven't seen you outside lately, and yet you're tan. Oh, that's really weird. Oh, and you're tan. Oh, in the video you're tan. Oh, that's interesting. Is there something you do before and after the video that makes you look more tan? Perhaps I don't really know what you're saying. Are you telling me that you think I wear makeup, Joey? What do you say over here?
I'm gonna be serious, Doug. I think during that time you were either wearing bronzer or some sort of makeup. Yes, 100%.
0%.
What the hell? Did you not? You guys gotta go back. Honestly, people, they have to go. And there's nothing wrong, dude. I wore makeup for a little bit of time when I was living in Australia and I went to music festivals. Okay, I put on makeup, and why not?
I have no problem with wearing makeup. For bigger shows, you get makeup done before you go on. When I was on like ESPN, you get makeup done. When you're on Super High Roller Bowl, you get makeup done. I'm fine with. I have no problem with doing that. But I'm not gonna put makeup on for a fucking YouTube video to fucking 98% dudes. I just don't care. And what am I doing it for? Yeah. Oh man, Doug's getting real tan. Oh, I'm gonna cash in on like 5 more views. Yeah, that seems like it's like the play. If I was doing it, I would admit it. But I was not doing it. I was just more tan. You know that I went to Punta Cana, right? Late October last year.
Okay. Is that when they took that creepy photo of you, or is that a different? That was that different.
That was that time. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. That's real fucking creepy. By the way, I just mentioned it's. Okay, guys, so
do you think, never wore makeup, right? You believe me there? Do you think you believe me, guys? No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know. I still think you wear makeup. Doug, what's going on this week, Doug? It seems like it seems like their last week live at the bike week. Obviously, we were out there all week. You played out there. Did you make money on that last day? I know you were up. You heads up match. You crushed. So by the way, guys, So a lot of you guys, I think when they watch Doug play poker, Doug, what most of the times you see Doug play, Doug's playing like full ring. He's playing 7-handed, 6-handed. And Doug's specialty is heads up poker. It turns out when Doug plays heads up poker, he's probably going to have a lot more success at heads up poker on average than he's going to have maybe in some of these other formats. And I don't think people realize that, Doug. And I kind of want to ask you, what do you think? Do you think it's that big of a difference going from playing heads up, which you've played hundreds of thousands of hands, and you played that many hands at full ring as well too, in 6-max, but your specialty, what you're great at, what you're debatably one of the best at in the entire world is heads up, know 'em, and hold 'em. And then when you get to sit down in a 6 or 7 or 8-handed game, how, I guess, where do you feel like you kind of stack up there against other top players who maybe that's their main focus, whereas your focus has always been this other format?
Well, there's certainly a little bit of an advantage there for people that have more experience in that game type, but I also think that's an element that tends to get overplayed. Like the kid, I've been playing poker since before you were born. Like, okay, well, you probably suck, So I don't think experience is too significant when it comes to poker. At the same time, if you're spending all your time studying and learning in those formats, then yeah, it's going to help you out a bunch more. So I don't really feel like it's a disadvantage for me. But it is definitely safe to say that I'm stronger at heads up no limit. I mean, that's the game that I've played kind of from the ground up. So, yeah, I mean, the heads up no limit was great. Obviously, playing against like a good player, Danmer's a good heads up player for sure. But yeah, I'm gonna be more likely to have success playing in a heads up format, unless it's against Phil Hellmuth,
Yeah, I mean, obviously that I'm sure, although to be fair, even though you did suffer defeat to Phil, I would imagine you would enjoy the opportunity to play him as much as he'd be interested in playing you in a heads-up format, though.
Yeah, I would certainly be interested in that. But I mean, it is what it is. Maybe one day we'll battle again. But for the time being, I don't think it's in the cards.
I want to give a big shout to Danmer too. So Danmer finally showed up, got up to the plate. I don't want to say manned up 2017. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. He personed up. He humaned up. He finally played you heads up. He did get smacked around a little bit, but it was nice to meet him finally. We went out. I think we went out one night. I think on the Saturday night or something like that, and we had a very fun time. So yeah, Danmer. Big shout to Danmer. I think he's going to be playing a little bit more of these televised kind of cash games, as he's had some interest to play on the Poker After Dark. So we're going to see maybe if he plays on there. And overall, I think the week was fun, man. What was your kind of takeaway from the Live at the Bike week, minus what we'll get into next, which is, sort of what happened on that Friday episode?
Yeah, I think I would say overall I had a good time. I think 5 days of playing is maybe a little too much. I think in the future, if I do something like this, I don't think I'm going to schedule the full thing. There was actually a little bit of confusion out of the gate. It was supposed to be Tuesday through Friday, but then I don't know, the confusion happened, and then it became Monday through Friday. So
the confusion was, Doug, I said, hey, we're going to play PL on Monday, and you got to play, and then that was it.
Well, originally it was supposed to be on Tuesday. Whatever, it's not a huge deal. But yeah, it was maybe a little bit too much poker, just kind of every day having to play so many hours. I'm old now, man. I don't play as much poker, especially live, kind of like grind you down a little bit. But I would say, all in all, I had a great time. Played a lot of good games. Ended up losing, I don't know, 30 or 40 or 50,000 on the trip. I've stopped counting. So yeah, that was good. I got to hang out with a bunch of people that I actually like to spend time with. That was great too. Obviously, good to see Fees. And then it was cool to play with Dan Smith, Danmer, basically anyone named Dan. Dan Cates. Really, it was cool getting to hang out with all of the Dans except for Coleman. And yeah, had a good time, man.
All right, so let's talk about Friday. So Friday happened. Originally supposed to be, for you guys probably have seen the story on your Doug's channel, or you maybe watch a podcast with me and Matt Berkey I had on Monday where we talked more about it as well too. But it's supposed to be a 200-400 game, going down there 200-400 with a $1,000 ante or something of that nature. Game didn't go down, and then you made a video that sort of talked about how this is becoming an issue in poker. And while I didn't necessarily, I feel like you singled out Josh a little bit, who I don't know much about. You singled out Matt a little bit in this scenario, which I don't know. I have to know a little bit more about it, just see if I agree with that or not. But I do think the you making that video, you talking more about this, I think it's good for poker and for the future of these televised games, because I do feel like it is becoming more and more of an issue. We saw it one time on the Poker After Dark, and then we saw it like 2 times, and then like 1 or 2 more times the next time as well too. And then it happened here. So I feel like while, this might draw some attention in a negative way to some people, are just kind of people might look at it and say, oh, I don't think this had to be done like this. I do think overall it's very, very good because, this isn't very good for any side of things. It isn't good for the players, it isn't good for the people that are watching, it isn't good for the companies, it isn't good for the future of games like this taking place.
Yeah, so here's kind of where I'm coming from. I mean, I've talked about this a bunch. I'm sure some people are like, Doug, we get it, but just one last time through, I guess. I've really spent this year playing on basically any TV show that will have me. Been on the Bike, Poker Night in America, Poker Go, did some ESPN stuff. I've just kind of been trying to get into any of these games or spots to commentate that I can. And so I've gotten to see what kind of goes on like behind the scenes as far as like getting the players there and what that process looks like. And it's pretty brutal right now because the kind of status quo is you can say you'll be there, and then if you can or don't want to, you don't have to play. And while that sounds fine, when it gets to a point where people are planning on shows around these people and they're promoting, hey, we're going to have these guys for this game. Like if you want to like tune in on Tuesday, we'll have these people. Oh, that's good. Are we live still? Is it good? All right, I'm going to keep going while Joey fixes this up. But anyway, when it turns into like, hey, everyone show up, we're going to have this game going, and you can watch this game. And then like on the Tuesday, one of the worst players, really one of the worst players in general says, oh, I'm not going to play. Well, then it's like dominoes because now like some of the other worst players think they can't play, and then they quit, and the next person quits. And then before you know it, you just don't have a game anymore. And it just kind of sucks for a lot of people. Sometimes people fly in to play on these games. Obviously, the fans want to see this go down. Obviously, there's a crew. There's the person running the game. One of the hardest and most underrated jobs in poker is setting the lineups for all of these shows. Like they have to put up with so much to try and get the best lineup out there that they can. And I really do think that if we don't start trying to have a way where people will honor being at a show, then what's going to happen is this problem is going to get worse. We're going to see more people doing this, not less. If there's no punishment, then whatever, right? So I guess like my main point here is I would rather have like a worse lineup, but of people I know that are going to be there than like, oh, I'm only going to play this show if the bad player shows up, because like that's just not fair to anyone. I think there need to be more people willing to just kind of play, and if the lineup gets worse, whatever, you're willing to play. But we really just need to find a way to make it so that when players say they're going to be there and they're going to commit to an event, that they actually follow through on it.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely understand that side of things too. And I'm kind of thinking about this a lot. And these shows are also in their infant stages of existence. With Poker After Dark, these live streams, these higher stakes sort of live events, they're very new. So I think it might just take some time before you have a regular group of people who will say, yeah, I'll play at anything. Dan Murray's like, yeah, I'll play. You got Doug, yeah, I'll play. Jungle Man, yeah, I'll play if I'm there. And then eventually you have a certain group of guys that will play no matter what. And then maybe those guys are going to get preference to be able to play in some of these games. And then they might get in softer lineups and stuff like that. And obviously that whole balancing act is that's a mystery on its own, exactly how these guys handle doing that. But I mean, I know from talking with Feldman, from talking with Brett Hanks at Poker Central, that is hard. It's hard to get people lined up in a spot to play poker no matter what. So overall, I don't think it's a very easy thing, but I do feel like we'll probably see more of it happening in the future because the stakes are very high and not everybody's as risk adverse to gambling with hundreds of thousands of dollars against some of the best players in the world. But, maybe that could be a time where, maybe a year from now, like I said, we have a bunch of guys that are willing to play no matter what, and then we stop seeing this happening.
Well, there are a few things that you kind of have to do. And to be really clear, I'm not saying like, oh, these like weak players have to play against me at high stakes so I can win money. I'm not saying that at all. Don't want to play, do not play. But also don't say you're going to play. Don't say you're going to be there and you're going to be in and you're going to play in the game and then be like, yeah, you know what? No, because then, it again harms everyone involved. I guess like the main thing is just we're probably going to see these shows offer lower stakes. I think that the stakes are one of the biggest issues, just like asking people to put up so much money to gamble. I mean, Poker After Dark has probably had this problem the worst, I would say, of any of the shows. And they're going to likely continue to see that happen if they try and make the stakes like 200K minimum buy-in or 300K minimum buy-in. or 100K minimum buy-in. These are like huge stakes, man. Like these are like serious like stakes. Like it matters to people. So maybe the solution is to have lower stakes. You're not going to have this problem in a 20 by 50 game.
Yeah, we'll kind of see what they do. We'll see what happens here. And I do want to applaud Feldman for at least trying the idea. Live at the Bikes never had a 200, 400 game, and they still haven't had a 200, 400 game yet, technically, too. But they gave it a shot. Poker After Dark, they have a lot more, I guess, experience lifetime with doing things like this, too. So it's not surprised that they're able to get some lineups. But I did think this week's lineup, they've showed they have a lot of potential to put together an interesting combination of players. We saw Garrett on there. We had won over $600 the first day. Him and Matt Berkey were on the show, and then you had Bob Wright in the mix. Who seems like, I don't know if you got to watch any, but it seems like Bob Wright actually plays a lot better than he maybe did a bunch of years back. And so you had Scott Seaver in the mix in there. You had I think one of the Jack. I don't really know what Jack the Asian guy was in there. You had Chris Kruk, who has made a debut. So I think it's cool to kind of see lineups like that where you have a couple new players in there. You get a couple of the recreational guys mixed in there, and so hopefully in the future we'll be able to see more and more lineups like that. And maybe you just have to, maybe you don't invite the players who become a problem, who turn down invites and who do things like that in the future. Maybe you say, hey, okay, well, if you don't want to show up and play when you say you're going to play, then we won't work with you anymore.
Yeah, those are obviously good steps to take. I didn't end up watching too much of the show. I just kind of like parsed through for some good hands to analyze. But I've actually played poker with Bob Bright more than people would think, because I don't know, 6-7 years ago when I got to Vegas and was like playing more live, I used to travel around town playing in this like 2-5-10 game. They would go from casino to casino, and Bob Bright was a regular in that game, so he would like show up and play in that game. And Bob Bright, for those of you that don't know, is a very successful trader. And he has like his own firm. And he told me, like, at the time when I was playing the stakes, like if I ever wanted to try trading, that like, he basically like he gave me some contact information for like how I could get into it. And like, I assumed that he meant like he'd like help me out, like get started and stuff too. So super nice guy, very successful guy, and really, really like a kind guy, someone that I've known for a while and has played poker for a while. So, good to see him kind of getting in the mix with those stakes. I can't really say anything about the hands because I honestly just didn't watch. So I don't know exactly how he played, but I heard he made at least one like pretty sick fold in a big spot.
Yeah, I saw that Henry made a pretty big fold in a spot where you don't expect recreational players to make a fold. So, but overall, just from kind of seeing him play, I was a little bit surprised that I thought he played better than I would have expected to. So I guess, the kind of thing I had Berkey on the podcast earlier this week, and you made the video about him, and he sort of responded back and kind of talked about that a little bit. And, kind of, so where do things sit exactly with, this? I don't know if it's a feud or the YouTube title you put, the feuding poker players. Is there like a feud happening between the two of you, or is it just like, he didn't want to play in the game, or you think he didn't want to play? What exactly is the issue here going on between the two of you?
Well, I wouldn't say that I have anything personally against Berkey. I think he's made some comments about like me in the past that have been kind of, I don't know. It's funny when you say someone's like one of the most critical people ever or something like that, because like, you're being critical on me by saying that. So it's kind of a funny thing to say to begin with, but I have never really felt any animosity with Berkey. I would still say that's the case. I think most of the stuff on YouTube is like jokes. I like to like make fun of like the absurdity of stuff, and also when people are like kind of clearly lying, like when Berkey said like he didn't know what the stakes were going to be like. I mean, they were posted pretty clearly, and also Feldman was very clear what they were going to be for like a long time with all the players. So, this was a big deal for the bike. Like they like promoted it for a long time. They really tried to make this happen. They tried to get a big game, and so I'm just really not buying that excuse like at all. I think it's just a lie. So, obviously when that happens, I like to make fun of it and show kind of the absurdity of it. I don't exactly know what Berkey's situation is like. I do know that, for the super high roller bowl, he said he had like he put like 200K in action. He had a 700K bankroll or something. That's like obviously just terrible decision-making. You don't want to be doing that. It's not the kind of thing you should be like advising people to do. It's how people lose all their money. I think you want to be advising people to play in the correct way. So, personally, no, I have no problem with Berkey. As far as like Berkey's like whole persona. I'm not a huge fan of it because it has like a very like elitist like just I'm kind of better than you like look slash tone to it. So I'm not a huge fan of that, but you know there are many people in poker that I'm not a huge fan of. I wouldn't say it's anything particular. But going back and talking about that specific day, like you know, Berkey was the first person to bail once it became clear some other people weren't going to be showing up, and the whole excuse of like I didn't know what the stakes were going to be was kind of ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. And also, Joey, I'm just gonna say one thing here. You know, like at the end of the day, every game needs a Berkey. You know, and when you don't have a Berkey, it's a lot tougher to get that game going.
What does that mean? What do you mean?
I just mean every game needs a Berkey, man. Every game needs a Berkey.
What are you trying to say? Are you trying to say something about his poker ability? You think about his poker ability or what?
I'm just saying if you can't spot the Berkey at the table.
Bang, bang, I guess, yeah. Dang. So that's kind of where things sit with you two of you now. You haven't talked about it all or anything like that. It's just maybe you guys play in the future, maybe not, or what?
Yeah, I mean, maybe we play some in the future, but like it's not a big deal. Here's the main thing too, like this like internet like beef and stuff like like I don't know. Like I just don't really care that much. I'm just gonna say what I think, and like if people get upset by it, fuck it. Like I just don't care.
Well, I mean, I like Berkey. I like everybody though, but I like Berkey especially. I like talking to him and
Joey, you sit on the fence like always.
I'm not. I mean, I like both you guys. What do you want me to say? I'm friends with both you guys. It's hard for me. What the fuck is going on here?
Okay, well that was loud. I don't know what's going on over on Joey's. Guys, look, don't let this PLO person sit here and try and deceive you with their lies. Nolan Holm's the greatest game. And remember, we had a poll going on Twitter, which Nolan Holm coming in at 72%. That's right, the greatest game. Also, Joey, going back to what we were talking about, you sit on the fence so hard. Joey can't say, wait, is Joey here? Oh, yeah, he's back. Hello, Joey. I'm talking. All right, guys. Here's the thing about Joey. He just cannot say mean things about people. He's just always nice. He can't say it. The only people he can pick on, the only person he can pick on is Jamie Staples. That's it. It's one person.
Okay, I definitely missed that because for some reason the stupid audio box I have that connects my speakers and my microphone keeps fucking up. But what did you say? I only what?
I said you sit on the fence, man. You never call anyone out unless they're named Jamie Staples.
I'm not calling out Jamie Staples unless he opens the fucking chest box and says they're fired. That's it. Besides that, I like the kid, man. He works hard. I got to respect the work ethic. Who else? Yeah, you're right. I remember last time I tried. What about Double A? What about Double A?
Bro, last time you tried to talk shit about people was like the most hilarious thing ever. Like name people, name someone. Well, he's actually a pretty good guy. Name someone else. Well, actually, he's a pretty good guy. Everyone's like a pretty good guy.
What about Double A? Double A, England Alec.
I mean, double A is like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like a little bad for Alec, to be honest with you. Just because it's just like he just got wrecked so hard, and like I don't know, man. Like he's like trying to do something that he thinks provides value and is like helpful to people. He's just like real slimy about it, and like now he's selling oil and shit. I don't know, man. Is he actually selling oil? Like actual oil? Bro, I saw some video from Torelli where he has a necklace, and if you open it up, it has something in there with scented oils that you can buy to like help you like focus and stuff.
Do they help you focus?
I have not bought one yet.
Oh, okay. And by the way, I want to go back to what you said about me. Just because I don't have things bad to say about people. Come on, I got like the people I talk to the most, the people that I meet or whatever. Like I don't know, man. I don't think it's that bad of a thing to be nice to people that you know and nice to people that you interact with. And if you don't know them, then you don't say anything mean about them. You don't say anything about them at all for the most part.
All I'm saying is if we were going good cop, bad cop, we both know who would be which.
I got no problem with that, man. Phil Galfon's a good guy too. He doesn't talk bad about people. I don't think that you need to be somebody who puts people down or says bad things to people, or says mean things or says things about them, whatever.
Okay.
If I have something, I think some things about people the same way you do, but I just don't say it because I don't necessarily see, I don't see the purpose a lot of times.
Well, there's a big difference here, by the way, between like saying things that need to be said in an issue and just like always starting shit. And like, it's a fine line. I'm not saying that it's like always clear what you should be doing, but you only ever say nice things about every person.
Yeah.
Every person. You know what? Actually, now I'm thinking about it, I feel like you should be a PokerStars Pro. Hear me out. Okay. Just hear me out.
Okay.
PokerStars Pros. I always think about it like this, and I'm sorry if I'm going to offend some PokerStars Pros, but I like to think of every PokerStars Pro as like a Disney character. Like they're like super upbeat. Let's go, guys. And then like, everyone's like kind of like going along, like look at all the people that are PokerStars Pros. They're all like super upbeat, nice people. Jason Somerville, Jamie Staples, Kevin Martin, Joey Ingram. They're all like, just like, you're great. I'm great. Let's be great together. Actually, the only exception to that is like Lex Veldhouse. He's like kind of a fucking animal, but like, I don't know how he's still on the squad really. But like, Elke. Like, think about all these people. They're all like Disney characters, kind of. They're all like super nice. Like, let's stream some 1 cent, 2 cent, and play some spin and goes, and like open chests and whatnot. So, yeah, you should. You know what? Maybe that's your calling, Joey. Maybe your calling is to get back to your roots and play no limit hold'em tournaments on PokerStars as an official sponsored pro. What do you think?
Fuck no. There ain't no fucking chance that's happening, man. Come on. Come on, man. No way. What is happening here?
Madness, guys. What do you guys think? Actually, let's get a poll in the chat. If you think that Joey would fit in nicely at PokerStars, let's get a 1. If you think that he would not fit nicely at PokerStars, let's get a 2. Let's see what you guys think here. Gotta see what you guys think. For what's worth, let me look at like the PokerStars Pros again. For what it's worth, it's not a bad thing. Like, it's not a bad thing being like a Disney character. They're very marketable. I think there are more pros that I'm just not thinking of off the top of my head as well. Let me find the PokerStars list. Who we got? Okay, here we go. Meet the professionals. All right, Negreanu, non-Disney character. We'll let that one go. Moneymaker, not so much. Livery, not so much. But Elke, kind of like a Disney character. Somerville, Jeff Gross, man. If Jeff Gross is a Disney character, I don't know who is. Who else we got up in here? Randy Lou, Nanoko, super Disney character.
He's not a Disney character. What do you think? He's like a video game player. He's not a Disney character.
I'm telling you, man. They're all like...
Have you not watched my latest videos? That's not me. I'm not a Disney character.
Look at all these ones, by the way, in the chat. Look at all these ones. Every person thinks... Bro, you know what? Actually, Joey, this is perfect. You already have the hat.
Wait, what was the question for the 1 and the 2?
If you should be a PokerStars Pro or not, would you fit in?
I'm banning everybody that said 1. Right now, everybody's getting banned. These dumb motherfuckers. I'm not being up. They say more rake is better. You guys fucking kidding me? I do not support more. I don't support them taking money away from Supernova Elites. I don't support them basically making the Polygon Law games fucking unbeatable for a lot of players out there to be able to move up. Come on, man. Get the fuck out of here. I don't support jackpot poker, fucking the chest. Get out of here, man. I can't take these motherfuckers no more. Thank you, Charlie Carroll. At least he said 2 in the chat.
Are you
Sorry,
actually
I gotta do some
banning
time
people right now?
I'm bad time banning them all, man. Everybody can get it right now. I'm just timing them out though. I don't want to permaban everybody. That'd be too many.
All right.
So,
that's fair.
but no, Doug, that will never happen.
All right. Yeah, you get two OOL to be able to be on the squad, I think.
Doug, I recently made a video called "When You Want to Drive Off the Bridge." How is that Disney character? What kind of Disney character you seen talking about wanting to drive off the bridge, Doug?
It's probably true. That's probably true.
Have you ever had that feeling when, maybe back in your early days of your poker career, if you lost a lot of money or if you went through a big downswing, did you ever come to that point where after the session ended, you kind of sat around thinking and you're like, man, I really want to fucking wow. Did you ever have sort of emotions like that you experienced when you were coming up in your own career?
Yeah. Look, Joey, this is something that I think a lot of people don't realize about me. But like it has not been rainbows and butterflies for my career in poker. You know, I started poker when I was 18, and I think the first time around I ran it up. It took a while, by the way, it took a few years, but after a couple years of grinding small stakes full ring and kind of swinging around, I finally found my stride with some staking and playing some mid stakes no limit. And I ran my first like $200,000-300,000 roll after a few years. But there was a lot of struggle. There was a point where people thought I was the worst small stakes regular on Stars.
What's happening here?
I won a poll for worst small stakes regular on Stars. You know that site Poker Table Ratings? You can see everyone's graphs. Mine was like break even / losing. So, I've like definitely had some adversity along the way. And then once I even got to that point, I like lost like 98, 99% of my entire roll. You know, I was down to nothing. So I've had many points in my life where I questioned if poker was for me. I questioned if I had what it took to make it through. I questioned if like I was actually even any good at it. So, you know, I've been there, and sometimes it's like sad. Like I remember after Black Friday, lost some money on full tilt. And I remember looking at how low my balance was, and being like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pay rent. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pay rent. My bankroll after Black Friday dipped into the 4-figure territory. 4-figure territory, man. And I had a mortgage for $2,700 a month or something.
Damn.
So I don't know. Like I used to like walk around my neighborhood at night during that and think like, you know, did I, ruin my life? Am I ever going to get a chance to get back to where I was? I decided that like I had to give it one last shot and only play the game that, I actually could like really crush at and see if I could make it or not. So, yeah, I've been there. I've been there for sure. That's like, I think it's kind of part of the process. And like being there, especially after having achieved some success, it teaches you like next time around how you're going to handle it differently and how you're going to make sure that you don't fail in that same way.
Right. Can you hear me right now?
Very faintly.
Very faintly. Okay. I'm trying to I got my old computer back here, so I'm trying to figure out the setup here right now, and it's failing me very hard right now.
Let me pull up something here. I'm gonna tell you what my liquid bankroll was, because I have a sheet where I have this listed. I'm gonna tell you what my listed bankroll was after Black Friday. Liquid bankroll. Let me see. It was 2011, right? Shit, this was. Oh wait, no, that happened before Black Friday. I was busted before.
When you came to my house in Vancouver, that was towards the end of 2011, which was a couple months after Black Fridays, and you came there. So, what was your situation like when you came to my place then?
So this is just liquid, but on February 13th, 2011, I had $8,500.
Damn.
Total. And then by December 31st, I had
staking me around that same time too for like something.
Yeah, I was probably staking you. But that was low variance, so I knew I was good.
Yeah, that was good. Wait a sec. Yeah, that's true.
And then by the end of the year, I had 233.3 thousand. So like you can turn it around, man. Like even if like and there are a bunch of swings in here, by the way. At one point I ran up to 80 and then back down to 30. There are some ginormous swings in here. But no matter how bleak it gets, like, if you put your head down, you try your best, you can fight your way out of it.
Yeah, and I think that's sort of I was trying to, a lot of those emotions I talked about in my recent Real Poker Talk videos that a lot of people like. You check them on my YouTube channel. I made one, State of Online Poker's Fucked Up. I made one about when one hand defines your poker session. And I made one more. I can't remember the title of it right now. But yeah, I was kind of trying to channel those emotions that I experienced at that same point in time in my own poker career, sort of the doubt you feel, am I going to make it? Am I ever going to be able to become a winner at this game? Did I make a wrong decision? Did I make a right decision? Like, what am I doing with my life? Trying to channel those emotions I used to feel very strongly and put that into content that I felt that people could understand, could very much relate to. Because, while I think, people are in positions where been winning at poker for a long time, a lot of people out there aren't necessarily in that position. And a lot of people are struggling to make it. They're trying to make it. They want to be a consistent winner, but they deal with so much sort of emotions that negatively that come from that pursuit. And that's the kind of content I want to talk about, because I've dealt with that. I dealt with that extreme over these first couple of years of my own career, trying to figure out it was kind of probably because I was 24 tabling, to be honest with you. If I played less tables, I probably would have been a bigger consistent winner. But with 24 tabling, breaking even, being a rake back pro, everybody on the poker table rating saying that you're fucking shit, you can't win without rake back. Those comments sort of add up and add up and add up, and you start having doubts about yourself. But it turns out if you stop 24 tabling and you start only playing a couple tables, it turns out you're going to do very well. Just a thing for people out there that mass table that I don't think some mass tablers ever really figured out, Doug. They never figured out that you could stop mass tabling, play less tables, focus more, and you'd probably end up being a pretty good winner at the games.
I don't think we see as many mass tablers nowadays that we saw like back in the day where people were like, I'm going to just clock in, play 20 hours, win at one big blind, get my rake back. I don't think it's as much like that nowadays because people realize that the games are evolving and difficult. And if you do that, you'll fail. But I think that there were a lot of things that helped me kind of manage to turn it around along the way. It's never one thing, right? It's never like do this thing and you're good. Everyone always wants like a simple answer, like, oh, so I'm struggling. What should I do? Oh, do this one thing and you're good to go. And that's just not life. Like life has a lot of difficult things are going to be thrown your way. And sometimes, and this is true, sometimes the shit that's going to get thrown your way is going to be so fucked up you can't even overcome it, right? So not to be a downer here for a moment, but that's the way it works. Nothing has to be fair. No one has to. You don't have to make it at the end. There doesn't have to be the day where you succeed. But that should drive you. That should drive you to make that as likely to happen as possible. Wake up and be like, I'm gonna do something today. So I think I'm gonna be someone today. So I think the first thing is to have that drive to never die, never say I'm gonna give up, never throw in the towel, fight no matter how tough things look. And sometimes that means learning that you're not going to win a battle and going elsewhere. I tried to play a bunch of game types I wasn't good at for a long time and eventually realized that I couldn't do it. I at least at that point in my career, I couldn't make those things work. And I went elsewhere. I found what I could do.
Right.
So I would say like that determination to no matter how tough things get, believe in yourself and like you are going to fight. You're going to give it everything you have every day to one day be someone. That's the first thing. The second thing is, get rid of things in your life that distract you or hurt you from getting to places that you want to be. And that's not to say you shouldn't have hobbies. I think it's good for everyone to have hobbies, things you enjoy doing. But, if certain things are not helping you or certain, pursuits are taking too much time, figure out what's important in your life. Figure out what are the things that are important. So for me, kind of putting those things together, when I was on the brink, I was like, okay, well, I know that what I have to do is hit them to the limit. I'm wasting my time with all this other stuff. It's how I made my money, a lot of my money. I don't know why I moved over. And then I'm going to just go all in here and play every day until I've either made it or I've not. I'm going to find a way to do my best. And sometimes that means admitting, by the way, that you can't make it. You don't have the chops. You're not able to do it. I was actually like debating going back to school. And if I had failed when I got to Vancouver, I would have gone back to school because I wouldn't have really had another good option. And I was never going to be one of those guys just like struggling to get by for years and never making it. Right. So, figure out what you're good at, figure out what your skill sets are good at, cut a lot of bullshit out of your life. And then, go all in and give it everything you got, study, play, see what other people are doing, figure out, poker specific advice, see what good players are doing, copy that. I did a video recently on my channel where I gave like 5 tips for people to get better. And I honestly believe those tips can help people. But the point is you got to believe in yourself and you've got to fight to succeed because everyone is trying to take from you. Poker sites trying to take rake from you. Other players are trying to take your money. Other people are trying to scam you. Other people are trying to keylog your computer. The government is trying to shut agencies down. Some of these poker sites are trying to straight up steal your money. Nobody wants you to win. I hate to break it to you. No one wants you to win. So if you're going to win, you have to be a cut above the rest, but also be making smart decisions in all aspects of your life.
Dare I say GTO?
Dare I say that no limit hold'em is a way of life. It's a way of life, Joey. It's a way of life.
I'm not going to support that. I mean, I get it, but I'm not going to. I can't really support that. No, I just can't. I really can't. Lee in the chat says, Poppy, tell Doug I took advantage of the 20% discount over an upswing. I picked up some killer merchandise. Bag rig, that's me. Yes, guys. Link in the description. You want to go check out The courses, they're 20% off. I mean, whatever. People always get mad at me because they say that these are basically advertisements for Upswing Poker. And they're not really advertised for Upswing Poker, guys. I've had Doug on my podcast since I began it. Before he started Upswing Poker, when he was just a bad reg, or I guess I think he was a pretty good reg then too, actually. So when he was just a really good reg, I was still doing these pods with Doug. Now Doug just happens to have a training site, and we still do podcasts together. So it's not, I don't know. Some people seem to be upset about that. Doug, where do you feel like your YouTube videos are at right now with things? I seem like right now they've been having this pretty much consistent success for maybe this whole entire year. But do you feel like there's a number, or there's a place you can take it to another level, or do you feel like where you're at right now is sort of where it can be and just kind of maintaining here, or where do you stand on that right now?
Well, I'm going to be going hard on videos for the next month or month and a half. A lot of people watch videos for poker in the winter, so it's a good time to be going hard. I've been doing videos daily for a while. Probably going to take this weekend off though, and then I'll be back with some videos on Monday. Yeah, I guess we're going to see what happens because, for a few months I was doing them a little more sporadically. I'm going to try and go hard for the next month and see if I can get some success, kind of like what happened last December. But I don't know, man. I don't exactly know what 2018 is shaping up to look like for me. I don't think that it's impossible that I stop doing some poker videos for a while. Yeah, I could see that happening. I think I could see focusing more on some other things like crypto. But we're gonna see what happens. I don't want to say anything too definitive because I don't exactly know what I'm gonna get or what I'm gonna do. But that kind of brings me into the subject. So we talked a little bit about this in the last pod, but basically for the last 2 years, I've just been going so hard on promotion, social videos, streaming, everything, right? And now it's getting to a point where I'm like, okay, well, just kind of take a step back, big picture. Is this what I want to do with my life? Is this the way I want to live, permanently? And I don't know if the answer to that is yes. I also don't know if the answer to that is no. But I want to maybe take a little bit of time off and get some perspective. So I'll probably take a break from YouTube at least for a few weeks or something in 2018. I guess I just want to try and figure out what things are really important to me. And right now, I think, not drinking, spending some time on health, dieting, working out every day, that stuff's really important to me. I have some goals. I have some places I really want to hit, places I really want to get to. So I'm focusing a lot on that. And I think that's kind of my number one concern. And then after that, obviously upswing poker content. And then YouTube is just not as important as those two other things are to me. So, yeah, I guess we're gonna see what happens. Overall, I would say that I think that I've kind of hit a bit of a plateau on YouTube, and I just don't think that there are other new people out there. So it kind of begs the question of how good is it to keep making videos, and that's an answer that I'm not entirely prepared to answer yet.
Yeah, it does seem kind of like a plateau has been hit by you, and maybe the idea is then, maybe figure out a different type of content you could potentially put out. But I don't know if a new type of content is going to be able to have a bigger appeal, because what's the most popular poker content has always been poker hands. And, what else could you do that would be able to get hundreds, thousands plus views on a consistent basis? I don't really know if there's a subject or a type of thing you can do consistently that's going to be able to get those sort of numbers that you've been hitting on a lot of your good videos.
Well, I think the number one video type on my channel pretty consistently, if you just look at raw views, is actually the news segments. But those require news. Sometimes all right, I haven't done one of these in a week. Let's fire up some breaking news. And I look at all the stories and I'm like, these things are not very interesting, breaking news. Phil Ivey signed with Virtue Poker. You know? Or James Woods and Negreanu bicker on Twitter. Is it really? I don't know. I just feel like sometimes there's not enough news to really go off of. And then after that, I think a lot of the hand reviews are definitely some of the more popular content. Gonna keep doing those for sure. But it's tough, man. It's tough. I wish there were more people that like poker. I wish that there were more people out there.
I think I've been reading a lot of stuff about the media and news in general, and a lot of this stuff doesn't become news until people make it news. So it's kind of like in some in some genres or some niches, things might happen that people might care about, but no one reports it or no one talks about it, so it never becomes anything. And I think, if you kind of just study media and you study how things work in other things, a lot of the reasons in sports things become popular is because they talk about it over and over and over and over and over, and they sort of manufacture a story out of it. And so you mentioned like those ideas, they might not be that big in news for them, maybe, but maybe they would be, or maybe, more people do care about things like that. I actually think that people would really care about the Negreanu James Woods thing and things like that, because those elicit an emotion from both sides. The people who side with Negreanu, the people that side with James Woods, the people that just want to be entertained by that. So I actually think that story is probably a perfect type of story to have a news story about. And even though it's not poker specific, it is involving one of the highest profile people in poker. So I do think that story is, and Virtue Poker, I think that's something too, because it involves Phil Ivey. It involves a potential new cryptocurrency poker site that other pros are involved with. It also ties in with cryptocurrency with yourself too, with which you're focusing on now with Coin Central and with a lot of the content you're creating too. So I do think a relevant story between one of the most popular poker players and crypto space, and then Negreanu, I think those are actually two literally perfect stories for a breaking news segment, Doug. I don't know, man. I got to disagree on this one. I kind of want to watch the video you're going to make about this now. I want to know more. I want to know more about the crypto poker sites. I got questions. I want to know.
Well, to be fair, I don't know enough about the crypto poker sites to give like a good review of them. But yeah, you know what I mean, though. There's not like infinite news in poker like there is in many other areas, right? So, yeah, I guess like I'm just gonna do a little self-reflection. I think coming up in the new year, and figure out what's most important to me, and try and live my life accordingly.
We sound like we're both going through some self-reflection point of life where I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, man, what do I want to do? What do I want to talk about? I'm going to talk about this, talk about that. And I think it kind of coincides with, as both of us learn more about what's outside of poker and what other things we might like and enjoy, even though we both love poker and love talking about it, we're not as driven to continuously get better at it as we once were. And I think that might start to show in terms of our motivation and desire to talk as much about poker.
It's also one of those things where you want to grow as a person in life. You don't want to just be someone that gets stuck doing the same things all the time. You want to take on new challenges. You want to figure out, how can I become a better person? What can I focus on that I think I'm weak in? And also where am I going with my life? So, and by the way, it's also not in a negative way at all. I'm very happy and thankful to be in the position that I'm in, and poker will always be some part of my life. I will always be occasionally playing poker. I'm sure I will always, to some extent, make a poker video every now and then, especially if it's something I want to talk about. Or I can't imagine I'm ever going to miss playing in the World Series of Poker. I'm still going to be a poker player either way. It's just, is it going to be I'm a poker player where I'm like all in on everything, like I've been for the last 2 years, or am I going to be a poker player where I pick my spots more? I play in things that I really care about. I make videos when I really care about them. And then I focus more of my time on other pursuits to try and help myself grow as a person. I think that's kind of the question with where I'm at.
Well, I guess we'll see exactly what that answer is coming up here, man. Let's take a couple questions from the chat. Shout out to Wayne Chiang out there. Wayne always showing a lot of love. Remember, I'm live at the bike. He's playing on the show sometime. Big shout out to Wayne. Jack Fleming always showing a lot of love in the chat too. Shout out to Jack. Who else we got? Travis Smith, Tyler Ego. Tyler, you bring up a really great question about that, and I think that's something that I can address in the future as well. Blindside 7-8 on tilt. I don't know, man. Doug, you want to give a shout to anyone? Anybody out there calling your attention, calling your name?
No, man. When I come with the Joey pod, I leave the shout out to the professionals.
Shout out to Serious. S Malone. Why doesn't Doug open a poker site? We kind of talked about that before in the past, right?
Yeah, I think opening a poker site is just too much risk, especially when you're going into a space where a lot of people have already been mobilizing. But also it's just so competitive that it's a lot of money, a lot of risk. And then sure, yes, big upside if you're successful, but you have to be successful in a pool of many big players. So don't get me wrong, I've considered opening a poker site for a while. In fact, I wish I could open a poker site, but I don't think it's necessarily the smartest decision to do at this point in my career.
Doug, do you want to show Instagram your shirt, your Eat, Sleep, Nolan Hold'em shirt?
Bro,
guys on Instagram, Doug has a new shirt. Eat, Sleep, No Limit Hold'em. You guys can kind of see it. He is supporting the No Limit Hold'em movement. You can check it out. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm trying to talk.
Talk. I'm talking right now.
All right, perfect. That looks good. All right, cool.
Nice.
You still been using Instagram at all, Doug? You like Instagram at all?
Instagram's whatevs, bro. It's whatevs.
Kind of getting a little over it too, to be honest. It's not that fun. I mean, like, I don't really like looking at other people. Like, I really only care what people I really like my friends are doing, and
yeah.
I try not to follow a lot of people, but even like then I follow a little bit too many people, and I don't really care. Like, yeah, I don't know what it is about Instagram, but like it's obviously addicting as fuck because you're so used to autopiloting, going to Twitter and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not enjoying it really that much anymore.
The only platform I really love is Twitter.
Why do you like?
I like Twitter because, well, for starters, it's where all the poker players kind of like, go to. So it's the poker sphere happens on Twitter, I feel. And then also I'm more of a words guy than a pictures guy.
Guess that makes sense. More of a words guy than a picture guy. All right. Last thing we're going to talk about is a scorpion. What is a scorpion? What is this about, Doug? Do you have a scorpion?
Okay. So the other night I was walking Binks to like use the restroom like by my house. And now there are a bunch of scorpions where I live. And they're like smaller, but they actually have like venom. And for smaller dogs, they can be pretty deadly. Especially if they get them in the nose or eye, it can kill your dog. Oh. And so we have a black light that I shine, or Caitlin shines whenever we're taking him out at night because we don't want to get stung by a scorpion. And I took Binks out while Caitlin was in Chicago, and I'm taking him out. I'm like checking everywhere, and he starts to go, and I flashlight next to him, and I realize there's a scorpion right next to him, like right next to Binks, and if it stings him, like it could be like deadly. So I was like, Binks, and he freaked out, he like scurried away, but he like scurried kind of like right by the scorpion and like ran to the side, and I like grabbed him. But like it's really scary, man, because like these things are actually like pretty deadly for small dogs, and like it's just right next to him, I don't know. It was scary.
So is there a way to fix this in the future? Is there like a special, maybe like a fenced in section Binks could go at nighttime to relieve himself, or what can you do to prevent this? What's GTO right now, Doug?
Well, we're working on it. We're getting scorpion spray like to like kill them, and we're working on stuff. But yeah, man, dangerous. I was honestly like really afraid when it happened.
Wow. Well, yeah. I don't know much about scorpions. I did watch a movie called 1922 last night on Netflix, and there was deadly rats in the movie, and it was very hard to sleep afterwards. And I don't know what it is about rats or mice, but they're not really mice, but more rats. They are. I imagine scorpions are a couple notches above rats in terms of how terrifying they might be to sort of see or to just have near your dog there. So, what do you got planned here, Doug? What do you got planned for this next month coming up?
Well, it's actually good timing because I actually have to run here in a second. I'm going to a Golden Knights game tonight with my family. They're all in town, so we're doing some family stuff.
1:30, I know that, yeah.
And yeah, what else do I got coming up? Going to Florida in a week to play on Poker Night in America. That should be fun. A lot more videos coming up, and then some family time over Christmas, and going from there.
Well, I like it, man. Guys in the chat, make sure you follow along with Doug on Instagram, Doug Polk Poker, Twitter, or YouTube as well. Myself, I'll be putting up more real poker talk videos on my YouTube channel as well. And besides that, happy Thanksgiving, happy Black Friday. Make sure you guys, check out the 20% off sale on the Upswing stuff. Voila, merchandise, of course, Eat, Sleep, No Limit Hold'em. No Limit Hold'em is the way of life. And that's it, guys. Appreciate all the comments. Appreciate all the questions. Appreciate everybody that tuned in live. We got a lot of hardcores that show up every single time, and much love to all of you. Enjoy your weekend. Get out of line a little bit. Meet a man, meet a woman, have some fun, make a child. Well, let's not make a child. Actually, don't do that. But yeah, that's it. That's what we got. Doug, any last parting words?
That's it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. And remember, Eat, Sleep, No Limit Hold'em, and vote in the poll. We got No Limit up to 73% over PLO right now. What's important?
All right, Jesus. All right. Take care, guys. Much love. Shout out to the No Limit Hold'em hat right here as well, too. Peace out.